Talk to me about how a poetics of witness enacts for you. How does it transfer to craft and practice?
Well, again, I mean, I would go back to poets that influenced the way I think about writing. And of course, I come of age during the Black Arts Movement. And so I'm listening. I mean, I didn't have any clear context of all that was happening, but I'm listening a lot to Gil Scott-Heron and Nikki Giovanni and her really militant stage and the Last Poets. And so, at least to my young sensibility, they were trying to talk back to the world. They were trying to say, I see this and this is nonsense. I see this and this is necessary and true. I see this which other people do not see. Do you see what I see? This is what I was getting from them, you know. And some of those poems that you probably know were pretty wild, and some of them, I mean, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, for example, you know, ferocious piece, and then Ego Tripping by Nikki Giovanni. I mean, those were on the radio when I was a kid, you know, and, you know, because at that time, and I guess there are still stations that would consider themselves black radio stations, but then it was really, like, certain things you just simply weren't gonna hear if you weren't listening in Philly. It was WHAT and was it DAS? No, I'm not sure, but it's been a while. But those were stations where you would hear, you know, Ego Tripping on the radio, or The Last Poets, or Revolution Will Not Be Televised, you know, that kind of thing. And so I thought, that's what poetry is supposed to do, at least in part. It's supposed to say, this is unjust, this should not be happening, this should be happening, or have you seen this? If only to say, to invite other people to just be engaged by something you're engaged by. And so I think of poetry, as I said earlier, poetry as a community building tool. And so when I try to write something that would be a poem of witness, in which I'm trying to say is, look at this. I'm hoping that other people who read the poem will say, I see what you see and I understand why you feel the way you do, or I disagree with how you feel, but the whole idea is that there will be genuine engagement, and part of the way that's accomplished, I think anyway, is by being as clear as you can with what's at stake and with what you see, so that people don't walk away thinking, I just don't understand what you're talking about. I don't want to give people that option of slipping out of the poem, because there are a lot of people, as you probably already know, that's how they dodge poetry. I just don't understand it. When what they really mean is, I'm afraid to understand it. That's what they really mean. I'm afraid if I understand it, I might have to think differently. I'm afraid if I understand it, I might have to question my own life. That's what they really mean. And so, and for me, if you write a poem of witness, or any poem truthfully, but specifically we're talking about witness, you really don't want to give people the option of kind of, well, it sounds interesting, but I'm not you. I don't want to give you that option. And when I listen to those early poems by certainly the Black Arts Movement poets, but in Baraka, who would have been Leroy Jones when I was a teenager, and then if you jump back to the Harlem Renaissance, this is very similar. I mean, you know, of course the stakes are a little different, because the Harlem Renaissance writers are in many ways just saying, hello, we're here. Black people are human. Did you ever think about that, people? You know, they're trying to just get the barest, you know, foundation, like, we're here, we're real. You know, our pains are real pains. They're all saying, by of course, Black Arts Movement, people are saying, we're here, we've been here, and we're really getting tired of the way you're treating us. That's a very different kind of angle and different kind of tone. But in each case, though, there weren't really a lot of places to dodge. You won't find a bunch of really complicatedly obscure poems in either of those movements. Not many. There's some that might be more mysterious than others, but most of them are pretty much head-on, one man, one woman talking to another man, another woman. They're just talking and saying the things that I think can't be reduced to, well, I don't think I see it, or you just can't get around it, you know. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. We think about early Hughes, you know. No one's confused about what he's trying to say about this woman's life. You know, so that's, to me, a part of, if poetry has real muscle, and I think it does, that's where its power is in. It's in clarity, and in also hopefully on the page, staging something that is clearly part of shared experience. Whether you want to share it or not is another question, but it's part of shared experience. I mean, people don't necessarily want to hear about certain things. You know, there are poems I've written I'm sure people don't necessarily want to hear, particularly if we're dealing with like a critique of the larger mainstream / white society, and not everyone's to deal with that. But if you are going to be an artist of any integrity, you've got to say what you know. And if people like it, that's wonderful. If they don't, that's part of life too. You know, you have to just keep on walking.